Hello and welcome to Unacademy. Welcome to the fourth lecture of the Polity project, and today we will discuss yet another important topic, citizenship. You may have followed this news article where the Ministry of External Affairs has said that passport is not a valid proof of citizenship. Then who is the citizen of India? We will understand, keeping in mind the constitutional provisions and the Citizenship Act of 1955. Let's be clear. Section 20 of the Passports Act, it allows the government of India that you can issue passport to a non-citizen as well. What is a passport? Passport is a travel document which allows you to travel to different countries. For example, can Indian government issue passport to non-citizens? For example, the Tibetan refugees in India, the Dalai Lama in India, they travel on the basis of a passport which is known as the yellow passport, which is given to stateless individuals. Can tomorrow these Tibetan refugees claim Indian citizen, Indian citizenship just because they have the Indian passport issued by the government of India? No, which means passport alone cannot be a definitive proof of Indian citizenship. You may have to supplement this document with other documents, for example, your birth certificate or the birth certificate of your parents. Why? We will understand that in today's lecture. For example, if you are preparing for the civil services exam, right now your passport is blue in color. Once you clear the civil services examination, you will become part of bureaucracy, for example, IAS officers, IPS officers. You will be issued a white passport, which is given to the government officials. If you are a diplomat which is posted in a different country, you may be issued a maroon color, a deep maroon passport. And should you wish to prepare for this exam, right now there is a lucrative opportunity for you, because if you subscribe to our UPSC subscription for 6 months, you will get 6 months subscription without any additional cost. Similarly, if you subscribe for 9 months, you will get 9 months extra validity plus 9 months assure, which means somehow if you are unable to crack the civil services examination, the prelims examination, your subscription would be extended by another 9 months without any further charges. Ditto for 12 months, ditto for 18 months. And whenever you wish to enroll, you need to use this code IAS English, because at that time the lowest possible subscription fee will be charged from you. So let's get started and let's look at citizenship. Citizenship is normally a matter which is dealt by the legislature, normally not mentioned in the constitution. But our constitution under part 2 has articles from articles 5 to 11. They deal with the provisions of citizenship. Now, when I say citizenship is a matter which is normally dealt by the legislature, because the legislature of a country will decide who can become the citizen, who cannot become the citizen, because frequent changes may be required, then why does our constitution mention citizenship as a chapter under part 2 of the constitution? Because of the unique circumstances. India was partitioned, unfortunately on the grounds of the religion. There was massive movement of people from India to what became Pakistan, from Pakistan to India. So we had to be absolutely sure as to who are the citizens of India. That is why part 2 of the constitution, dealing with articles 5 to 11, they talk about citizenship at the time of the commencement of the constitution. When the constitution commenced, at that time, who is the citizen? But later, after that, after the commencement of the constitution, who can become the citizen, who cannot become the citizen, that is a matter to be decided by the legislature, by the Indian Parliament, because Indian Parliament has the exclusive right, control over this subject called citizenship. Only Parliament has the power to make a law on citizenship. And Parliament did that by enacting a law called the Citizenship Act of 1955, which has been amended multiple times, which we will discuss. But further, when we look at the people who are residing within the territory of India, we can broadly divide these people into two categories. Either you are citizens or you are aliens. Aliens means foreigners. It's derived from the Latin word alienus, which means a foreigner or a stranger. Then what's the difference between an alien and a citizen? Citizens enjoy all political rights, all civil rights. Aliens do not enjoy all the rights, which means what? Only a citizen has the right to vote, the right to contest elections, the right to hold constitutional positions such as the president, the vice president, the prime minister, council of ministers, governor, so on and so forth. The citizens enjoy all fundamental rights. Aliens do not enjoy all the fundamental rights, which means you may be surprised to read, but aliens also enjoy fundamental rights. But there are some fundamental rights which are exclusively available to citizens. For example, fundamental rights under Article 15, 16, 19, 29, and 30. These are the fundamental rights which are exclusively available to the citizens, which means citizens enjoy full civic and political rights, and aliens do not enjoy all these rights. But who is a citizen? I am claiming that I'm an Indian. But will my claim be sufficient? No. I am claiming I'm an Indian. I claim that I owe my allegiance to the government of India, to the nation of India. But my claim alone will not be sufficient to prove whether I'm a citizen or not. Because illegal migrants can also claim that they are the citizens. Those who are non-citizens can also claim, foreigners can claim that we are the Indians. Does that claim alone suffice that you are the citizen of India? No. The Indian state has to accept your claim. So this is what is becoming very, very interesting. Citizenship determines a person's full political membership in a country, his permanent allegiance to that nation. But at the same time, when you claim it, the state also has to legally accept that yes, you are the citizen by seeking documents from you. And once the state also accepts that you are my citizen, your political membership is complete. That's citizenship. We deviate from the US model, where in United States they have dual citizenship. They can have dual citizenship, which means you can be the citizen of United States and at the same time you can be the citizen of any other country. But in India, we are only the citizens of India. The moment we acquire the citizenship of another country, we will lose Indian citizenship, or our Indian citizenship will be terminated, because there is no concept of dual citizenship under the Indian laws. Although there are now voices which are advocating that India should also embrace dual citizenship, because there is a lot of brain drain happening. A lot of talented individuals are migrating to other countries. But since they cannot hold the passports of two countries, the citizenship of two countries, they give up and renounce Indian citizenship. Whether that is a good idea or a bad idea, do let me know in the comment section. Even then, you may be confused as to what do we mean by citizenship. For that, there is a beautiful definition of citizenship given by political theorist Hannah Arendt. According to that definition, citizenship is the right to have the rights. Once you have citizenship, then you have the right to claim government jobs. You have the right to contest elections. You have the right to vote in the Indian elections. You have the right to buy agricultural land. You have the right to go for mountaineering, for research purpose. So citizenship, long story short, is the right to have the rights. But when it comes to constitutional provisions, I told you part 2 of the Constitution deals with citizenship, despite the fact that normally this matter of citizenship is left to the political class, to the legislature to decide, because things may change and we need to adapt to the changing realities. And at that time, we may change our citizenship laws. So our citizenship laws should not be permanently marked in the Constitution. But even then, we have a chapter on citizenship in our Constitution. This is because of the unique circumstances of the unfortunate partition. And that is why Constitution under Part 2 talks about citizenship at the time of the commencement of the Constitution. This is where it becomes interesting. When was the Indian Constitution enacted? What is the commencement date of the Indian Constitution? 26th of January 1950. But so far as citizenship matters are concerned, Article 5, 6, 7, 8 are concerned, these articles have been given effect from 26 November 1949 itself. These were the provisions, apart from few other provisions, which came into force on 26 November 1949 itself, while the remaining articles came into force on 26th of January 1950, which we celebrate as the Republic Day. But what does Article 5 talk about? Citizenship at the time of the commencement of the Constitution. Who is a citizen at the time of the commencement of the Constitution, which is 26 November 1949? If you were born in the territory of India, or your parents were born in the territory of India, or you were ordinarily a resident of India for 5 years. If you are satisfying these conditions at the time of the commencement of the Constitution, if you were born in India, or your parents were born in India, or you have been an ordinary resident of India for 5 years, you are the citizen of India. That is how a lot of Anglo-Indians became the citizens of India. Even if they were not born in India, even if their parents were not Indians, but they were ordinarily resident of India for 5 years, they became the citizen of India at the time of the commencement of the Constitution, which is 26th of November 1949. Then what does Article 6 talk about? Article 6 says, what about the rights of citizenship of certain persons who have migrated to India from Pakistan? Because now the country would be split, would be partitioned into India and Pakistan. What will happen to those who are in Pakistan and now they are migrating to India? Will they get Indian citizenship or not at the time of the commencement of the Constitution? For that, there is a provision called Article 6. If you are in Pakistan, but you have entered India, you have entered India till what date? You have entered India till 19th of July 1948. If you have entered India till 19th of July 1948, you are the citizens of India. Why this date? Because this was the date when permit system was introduced in India. Permit system in the sense, before this date, there was a free movement of people from India to Pakistan, from Pakistan to India. Now we need to check, who are these people coming to India? Who are these individuals on whom we should confer citizenship? A cut-off date was provided, and that cut-off date is 19th of July 1948, because this is when the permit system was introduced. Only if you have the permission issued by the government of India, you can enter India, otherwise you cannot. So what about those who are in Pakistan, but now they migrate to India? If you migrate to India till 19th of July 1948, you are the citizens of India. But what about those who migrated to Pakistan from India? Constitution is clear. Even if you were born in India, your parents were born in India because it was undivided India, but you migrated to what became Pakistan on or after 1st of March 1947, you are no longer the citizens of India. Why this date becomes important? Because this was the date when it became crystal clear that the country would be partitioned. Because Clement Attlee, the Prime Minister of Britain, made it clear that we are going to leave India. Although he said we are going to exit India in 1948, and then this date of independence was advanced to August 15, 1947. But it became crystal clear in the last few days of February that now the country is going to be partitioned, and that is what we witnessed, massive movement of people from India to Pakistan, from Pakistan to India. But from the Indian territory, if you have migrated after 1st of March 1947, you are no longer the citizen of India. You shall not be deemed as the citizens of India because now you have chosen another country. That is Article 7. Article 8. So first is citizenship at the time of the commencement of the Constitution. Then what about the rights of those who migrated to India from Pakistan? Then what about those who migrated from India to Pakistan? Then what about those who were born in India or born to Indian parents, but now they are residing somewhere else, in other parts of the world, in different countries, which means you are the persons of Indian origin. If you want, you can register for Indian citizenship in these countries where we will designate an officer in our consulate or an embassy. There you register the citizenship, you register yourself as the citizens, even if you are person of Indian origin but residing outside India, you will have to register in your countries and then you can become the citizens of India. That is Article 8 of the Constitution. Article 9 is clear. We can't have dual citizenship, which means if there is a person who has acquired the citizenship of another country, that too voluntarily, nobody forced you, voluntarily you are doing it, you will no longer remain the citizen of India. If you have voluntarily acquired the citizenship of a foreign state, you will not be deemed, no person shall be the citizen of India. Even if you were born in India, even if you were born to Indian parents, even if you were ordinarily a resident of India for 5 years, but then you acquired voluntarily the citizenship of another country, you will lose your Indian citizenship. That's Article 9. Article 10 talks about what? Continuance of the rights of citizenship, which means if you were granted citizenship by India because of Article 5, because of Article 6, because of Article 7, and you have not voluntarily acquired the citizenship of any other country, even after the commencement of the Constitution, you shall continue to be the citizen of India. But listen to me carefully. Subject to any law enacted by the Parliament. What is it? Listen to me carefully. Normally, matters related to citizenship are not mentioned in the Constitution. I told you at least 2 times in this lecture that this is a matter which is dealt by the legislature. So legislature will have to enact a law. But Constitution under Article 5, 6, 7 has talked about who will become the citizen at the time of the commencement of the Constitution. But final determining authority of citizenship will be legislature, will be Parliament. So if you were granted citizenship under Articles 5, 6, 7, can you continue to be the citizens of India after the commencement of the Constitution? Yes, but subject to this law, which means what will prevail? The law enacted by the Parliament. This law enacted by the Parliament will be a comprehensive law which will talk about the citizenship, whether you will continue to be the citizen of India or not. And who has given Parliament this right to enact a law on citizenship? Constitution under Article 11. Under Article 11, Constitution has given Parliament an unfractured power that you can regulate all matters related to citizenship. Who can become the citizen of India? Who cannot become the citizen of India? How can you lose Indian citizenship? And that is how Indian Parliament enacted the Citizenship Act of 1955, which has been amended multiple times. For example, in 86, 92, 2003, 2005, 2015, 2019. 2019 one was slightly controversial, because the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, it gave the right to those who are migrating from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, because prior to this law, illegal migrants were not eligible for citizenship. Who is an illegal migrant? I am not an Indian, for example. I want to enter India. How do I enter India? I have a passport, I have a valid visa. The Indian government allows me to enter India. What if I enter India without a visa? I'm an illegal migrant. What if the visa is valid for 3 months, but I'm overstaying? I'm staying in India for 6 months, 7 months, 1 year. I'm an illegal migrant. And can I claim Indian citizenship? No. Can my kids claim Indian citizenship? No. But a condition was provided, an exception was provided. If you are from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and if you have entered India on or before 31st December 2014, but you belong to the 6 religious minorities of these countries, you are Hindus, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis. You may have left these countries because you feared for your life. You were persecuted because of your religion. And for that, you are leaving these 3 countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh. You seek shelter in India. Maybe you are seeking shelter without any visa, without any travel documents, which means you are an illegal migrant. Illegal migrants were not eligible for citizenship, but an exception was provided in 2019 where these people shall not be deemed as illegal migrants. Although they are illegal migrants, but the law says you will not be deemed as illegal migrant. When you are not an illegal migrant, you are eligible for citizenship. Now, who can become the citizen of India? There are various ways. One is by birth. One is by birth. And this is where you need to understand 2 concepts. Yas soli, yas sanguini. One is the law of the soil, the other is law of the blood. For example, yas soli is a concept that is followed in United States. If a person is born on the soil of United States, you are the citizen of United States, regardless of the nationality of your parents. There was one interesting anecdote when a lady from Hong Kong, she was 9 months pregnant, boarded the flight and then cruised towards United States of America. While in the flight, she started the labor pain. And there were passengers who tried to help her. She refused the help. She said, first confirm whether we have entered the US airspace or not. Because soil of United States includes the airspace as well. The plane had not entered the US airspace. She waited. And when the plane entered the US airspace, she received the help, accepted the help, and baby girl was born. Why? Because she wanted this baby girl to become the citizen of United States by birth. Because whoever is born on the soil of United States, which includes your airspace, you are the citizen of United States. Do we follow Yas Soli in India? You may be surprised. We used to follow. Because there was a time when if you were born on the soil of India, regardless of the nationality of your parents, you were the Indian citizen. And this process continued till 1987. Curiously, even if one of your parents was an illegal migrant and a child is born, the child would have been an Indian. It was only in 1987 that the law changed because of 1986 amendment, which came into force in 1987. The law said, now if a child is born on the soil of India, the child can be an Indian only if one of the parent is an Indian. Which means we shifted from Yas Soli to Yas Sanguini, law of the blood. Through blood, you should be related to India. Mr. Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. This law was amended again in the year 2003. And because of that 2003 amendment, now if a child is born on the soil of India, the child can become an Indian if both the parents are Indians. One of the parent is an Indian and the other parent is not an illegal migrant. Which means if one of the parent is an illegal migrant, this child born on the soil of India is not an Indian. Which means, long story short, you can become an Indian by birth. How? If you're born on the soil of India and if both the parents are Indians, you are an Indian. If one of the parent is an Indian and the other is a legal migrant, foreigner, you are an Indian. One parent is an Indian, but the other is an illegal migrant. The child is not an Indian, even if the child is born on the soil of India by birth. Second is by descent. You are not born in India. You are born to an Indian parents outside India. For example, tomorrow, by qualifying this exam, what if you're posted in United States and then a child is born? Will this child become an Indian citizen? Yes. How? you have to register the birth of this child at an Indian embassy or a consulate in United States. Within 1 year of the birth of this child, you have to register the birth of this child. And then this child will become an Indian. Not by birth, because the child is not born in India, but by descent, because the parents are Indians, or one parent is an Indian. I told you we do not follow dual citizenship. There is one exception to that. This child who is born to Indian parent or Indian parents outside the territory of India, if you are born in a country where they recognize dual citizenship, this child will have dual citizenship. That means this child born to an Indian parent or parents outside India, for example in United States, where they follow dual citizenship, this child born to an Indian parent outside India will have dual citizenship of US as well as Indian. But only till this child attains the age of 18. After that, this child who is now become an adult, you have 6 months to decide whether you want to retain your Indian citizenship or you want to retain your US citizenship. But in no circumstances can this child have two passports. Passport has to be an Indian. This is by descent. Third is by registration. And there are various categories under registration. For example, one category is if you are holding an overseas citizen of India card. And who is eligible to apply for this overseas citizen of India card? If you were once the citizen of India, now you are citizen of another country. If you once held an Indian passport, now you are holding the passport of another country. If your parents were eligible to become the citizens, but you did not become the citizen because you became the citizen of another country, you are a person of Indian origin. If you want to come to India, we will give you a special privilege, and that privilege is you will have an OCI card. Through this OCI card, you can enter India without visa for life. That's the privilege. But can this person of Indian origin who has an overseas citizen of India card, can you apply for Indian citizenship? Yes. If you were holding this OCI card for 5 years and now you enter India and for 12 months you have stayed in India continuously, you can apply for Indian citizenship. Through what route? Not through birth, not through descent, through registration. Similarly, if you are married to an Indian, for example, Sonia Gandhi, not born in India, not born to Indian parents outside India, but married to an Indian, Rajiv Gandhi. If you want, come to India, marry, stay in India for 7 years. After that, you will become eligible to become Indian citizen. How? By registration. This is the third way. Fourth way is naturalization. I am not born in India. I am not born to an Indian parent outside India. I am not even married to an Indian. But even then, I want to become an Indian. How do I do that? You come to India, stay in India for 14 years. You should not be from a country where Indians are not allowed to become citizens. You should have a knowledge of any language mentioned in the 8th schedule. You should give an undertaking that once you get an Indian citizenship, you will give up your previous citizenship. You will renounce your previous citizenship. If you follow these conditions, you will become eligible to apply for Indian citizenship through naturalization. That's how Adnan Sami became an Indian through naturalization. Mother Teresa became an Indian through naturalization. Professor John Draze became an Indian through naturalization. But there is another catch, another interesting condition. What if tomorrow Roger Federer wants to become an Indian? Or what if tomorrow Lionel Messi wants to become an Indian? Or Cristiano Ronaldo wants to become an Indian? Should we tell them that no, you should stay in India for 14 years, get a working knowledge of any language mentioned in the 8th schedule, and then apply for Indian citizenship? We want to fast track citizenship for them. And that is how law says if the central government wants, it may waive all or any of these conditions. All or any of these conditions in case the applicant has performed distinguished service in the field of science, philosophy, art, literature, world peace, or human progress, then in that case, you don't have to fulfill these conditions. We will give you citizenship through naturalization. And once you are given Indian citizenship through naturalization, you have to subscribe to an oath as well that you owe your allegiance to the Constitution of India. Fifth way through which you can become an Indian is by incorporation of a territory. For example, we incorporated Goa. We incorporated Pondicherry, which is now Puducherry. Will these citizens of Pondicherry, residents of Pondicherry, Goa, automatically all of them will become the Indian citizens once these territories have been incorporated? No. The central government will specify who are these persons of that territory which we have acquired who shall become the citizens of India. Which means what? Tomorrow we acquire Pakistan. We incorporate Pakistan into India, Bangladesh into India. We create the Akhand Bharat. Does that mean automatically Muhammad Yunus will become an Indian? General Asim Munir, Field Marshal, will become an Indian? Or Hafiz Saeed will become an Indian? We may want, when we incorporate Pakistan, we may say only the artists of the Coke studio and other civilians will become the Indians. These army generals, ISI generals, these militants and the terrorists and radical elements will no longer become the Indians. So the central government will specify which are these people, who are these individuals who can become Indians once a new territory is incorporated. But what is the proof of citizenship? Is Aadhaar a proof of citizenship? No. Why? Because Aadhaar is only a proof of identity. Aadhaar only proves that I am Sarmad Mehraj. That's it. Even foreigners are eligible for Aadhaar. Residents, usual residents, those who have stayed in India for 182 days in a year, they are eligible for Aadhaar. So Aadhaar cannot be a proof of citizenship. Can passport alone be the proof of citizenship? No, because I told you that the central government under section 20 of the Passport Act can provide travel document, which is this passport, to any non-citizen. Can that non-citizen then claim that because I have this passport, I am eligible to become an Indian, or I'm proving that I'm an Indian? No. Which means these documents alone cannot be the proof of citizenship. You have to furnish other documents. And which are these other documents? Can be a birth certificate, can be the birth certificate of your parents. Why? Because you cannot be the citizen unless and until your parents are also citizens, especially those who were born after 1987. Because till 1987, we used to follow the practice of Yas Soli, which means law of the soil, which means whoever is born on the soil of India becomes an Indian. After that, one parent has to be an Indian. Other parent does not have to be an illegal migrant since 2003. So your date and place of birth and your date and place of birth of your parents becomes important in determining whether you are an Indian. And for that, central government, as and when NRC is conducted throughout the country, will specify what is the combination of these documents through which you can prove that you are the Indian citizen. This is something that we needed to discuss today. And if you understood whatever we have discussed in the class, do not forget to press the like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.